Hey folks, we're back with some 410 shells. We've already looked at a couple of these Remington Express extra long range, and now I have the 7.5 inch variety. This is a 3-inch 410 shell. It has 11/16 of 7.5, like I said, and they're moving at 1135 feet per second. So we're going to be looking at these from 20 yards and 30 yards. We're going to test them in two different shotguns, the same that we've used to test all these other 410 Remington Express extra long range shells. We'll be using this New England I have here, and then we're going to be using a Stevens. The New England has the factory full choke, and the Stevens has the extra full turkey choke in it. So let's get set up here at 20 yards and shoot these 7.5s and see what kind of performance we get out of these Remington Express extra long range shells. So here we have our New England. It is a 3.5 inch chambered 410. It has a 26-inch barrel, and it has a full factory choke. And we're going to be shooting at 20 yards at our typical 12-inch bullseye target to see how these 7.5s perform. So let's see what we get out of them. They're so small, I can't tell from here how they performed. Alright, so here we have our Stevens 301. This is a 410 with a 3-inch chamber. It has a 26-inch barrel, and it has the extended extra full turkey choke in it. So we've got a target in there at 20 yards, a 12-inch bullseye, and we'll send some of these 7.5s down there and see what kind of pattern we get out of this thing. So here we go. It looks pretty peppered from here. Alright, so we've moved back up here to 30 yards, and we're going to be shooting the Remington extra long range 7.5s from here with just the Stevens 301. The New England didn't do good at 20 yards with it, and we're just wasting our time shooting from 30 yards. So we're going to shoot the extra full turkey choke with the 7.5s here from 30 yards and see how they perform. All right, them little 7.5s. I think I can see some holes down there. So we'll go down there and look at these targets and see what we think about these Remington 7.5s. All right, so here's the targets that we shot with the Remington extra long range 410 load. Here's the box. If you remember, they have 11/16 of an ounce of 7.5s in them. So let's start with the New England. We only shot it from 20 yards because we didn't see any need of shooting at 30 yards because the pattern won't go get no better. So these have about 240 pellets in each shell. So we got 10% of that in our 8-inch circle, and we got 25% of that in our 12-inch circle. Had we been shooting a bird, we probably would have got him. Had we been shooting a rabbit, we probably would have got him. Rabbits are not that tough. We would have had to pick pellets, though. They never would have went all the way through him. A gray squirrel could have probably shook this off, unless you got him up in the noggin. A red squirrel, a smaller squirrel, you probably would have been all right with them. So now let's go up here and look at the 20-yard target for the 301. Now, we shot this with an extra full turkey choke, and you can tell it. We have 30% of the total load in the 8-inch circle and 50% of the load in the 12-inch circle. I don't believe even a gray squirrel could have shook this off. So we would have got whatever we were shooting at within reason with that particular combination of shell and gun and choke. And down here at 30 yards, with the Stevens 301. We got 25% of the load in the 12-inch circle, which was the exact same we got with the New England at 20 yards. At 30 yards with the Stevens, we got 15% of the load in the 8-inch circle, which would have given us a better chance of getting whatever we were shooting at. So we did recover the widens from these 410s, and here it is. It's just your old cheap plastic wide, nothing special. No shock absorbing in, just a plastic cup to hold the shot in. So these Remington extra long range, the Stevens 301 performed well. I wouldn't have any problems using that for bird hunting. I do not like 7.5s for hunting small game. That's just my personal preference. I prefer to use a larger pellet for small game. But for shooting birds, they did pretty good. So until next time, y'all stay safe in the dove field, and God bless.